Fight fans worldwide, this is Upper Echelon Sports Bar, where we maintain boxing at its finest form. It's facts over feelings here. We not a boxer fan, but we are boxing fans. So that means it's non-biased, even though you think it may be no. We love all boxers because we love the sport of boxing, and we hope to progress it and get away from this false narrative that it's going in. So y'all sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride because Upper Echelon's in the building, and we gonna keep it ready.
What's up, fight fans? It's Upper Echelon here. We got another banger for you today. Look, people can say what they want and say what they feel, but this is an unbiased place right here. And I'm just going to have to speak of what's real. And right now, we're going to be talking about the face of boxing. Mr. Pound for Pound, Mr. 57 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws, Saul Canelo Alverez. Now, hate it or love it, you can like him or you don't. But besides Deontay Wilder, he's the only one selling in boxing right now. Earl Spence and Tank Davis are also selling as well, but you see Canelo Alvarez gonna bring him out. That's why he can acquire such a bidding war. See, PVC and DAZN both was in a bidding war for Canelo Alvarez. PVC was offering him $100 million for 2 fights, and DAZN was offering him around $85 for 2 fights. And that's a testament to him being pound for pound number 1, because we got pound for pound number 1 Terrence Bud Crawford and pound for pound number 2 Earl the True Spence about to go against each other right now, and the promoters don't even want to put $50 million up for both of them, which is a slap in the face because that's the biggest fight in the last 40 years, but they don't want to pay for it. But if you had Saul Canelo Alvarez fight somebody like Yildirim or Caleb Plant, they will put the money out there. Now, don't get me wrong, I feel like Terrence Bud Crawford and Earl Spence are pound for pound number 1 and 2. But in media, and you got ESPN, The Ring, and places like that, BoxRec, they're going to always be highly of Canelo Alvarez because, like I said, he brings out the money. And see, boxing is a money sport. That's why it's called prize fighting. And right now, Canelo is the prize that everybody wants. If it's not him, it's Deontay Wilder. And I'm here to tell you that the play is in. Canelo versus Triple G. The winner of that fight will be pound for pound number 1 if it's Saul Canelo Alvarez. Because what they're going to say is Triple G was one of the best middleweights, because they have already tried to compare Triple G to the likes of Marvin Hagler, which he is definitely not. Because I felt like Sergey Deverenchenko beat Triple G, and I feel like Triple G really hasn't had that big win. Like, he's beat a lot of people, but he really hasn't had that big win. And then when he had a true 50-50 fight, some say he beat Saul Canelo Alvarez, but I had Canelo winning both fights. I felt like the first one was maybe a draw, but I seen a swing round that I could give Saul, but Saul boxed him the second fight. And see, Triple G is going to have to shave years off of his career to come back. And we seen him get tired against Raul Maroda, and like I said, Sergey Deverenchenko gave him in business. And now he's going against a Saul Canelo Alvarez that just got washed by Dimitri Bivol, who lost 12 straight rounds against Bivol. Canelo's coming out there with aggression, a passion, and he has something to prove. And when Canelo comes out there, he's going to destroy Triple G. See, Canelo might not be the best, but he got the best matchmakers. And Canelo's record speaks volumes, because no matter what happened and what you say, he did beat Sugar Shane Mosley. He knocked down Josecito Lopez. He beat Austin Trout. He got washed against Floyd Mayweather, but he beat Alfredo Angulo. Erislan De Lara, we think he lost, but he got the split decision. We can't really argue the facts because the record speaks for itself. You either won or you lost. He knocked out James Kirkland. He beat Miguel Cotto, knocked out Amir Khan, knocked out Liam Smith, beat Julio Cesar Jr., split decision with Gennady, then he beat Gennady. Then he got the European bum bashing to him when he beat Rocky Fielding. He actually had a good fight against Daniel Jacobs, where I seen him pull that out. Went up and fought Sergey Kovalev and knocked him out. So when they say now that he dared to be great against Dmitry Bivol, well, what about when he went up there and fought a bigger puncher at the light heavyweight called Sergey the Crusher Kovalev? So he's already been up there to light heavyweight, so we can't say that he dared to be great because he was already great up there. He went up there and won a belt up there. So he was already a champion up at 175. So what are we saying about that? We can't say that about the Dmitry Bivol because that right there is false propaganda. Because if he was daring to be great, Sergey Kovalev would have beat him. Because Sergey Kovalev is a bigger fighter than Dmitry Bivol. What it was when he fought Bivol had that jab, and he knew how to let Canelo punch himself out. Because Canelo's legs are not the best right now, so he can't provide road work. And see, when you can't do that road work, then you fatigue. And that's the one problem with Canelo right there that stops him from being the best right now, is because he fatigues in fight. Canelo has a very high IQ. He has very fast hands. The only problem is he's kind of short. If Canelo was a lot taller and he was about the same height as these fighters that he's fighting, it'd be a whole different story. But see, since Canelo's coming up in weight from 154, then he's the naturally smaller guy. But I give him kudos because he's getting in the ring with these guys. But he has to get his fighters, like Styles makes fights. He has to get people that's tailored to his style. Like a slick, quick boxer, that'd be detrimental to Canelo right there, like Bivol. Bivol was able to neutralize Canelo's power. Because Canelo, after Sergey, though, he did beat Callum Smith, Avini Yildirim, Billy Joe Saunders, who was a slick fighter, and he beat Caleb Plant to be crowned undisputed, the first super heavyweight undisputed. So I give him kudos. He goes down in history for that. And as we seen in that fight, Canelo Alverez was having problems with Caleb Plant because he's a slick boxer. He's a slick boxer, and when he was boxing, he was moving, and the movement gave Saul trouble until Saul loaded up and caught him. See, the heavier weight that Saul is putting on him is putting stress on his legs. So he's not the fighter he used to be, because young Saul was a monster when he came up. And after he lost to Floyd, he integrated those skills that Floyd used to him. He mimicked Floyd's style of defense, and that made him that much more incredible. And Canelo was defying the odds and beating people, like the way him and Danny Jacobs went at it, or the way he was slipping Triple G. Like, people said that shit was close. I went back and looked at the Triple G fight. A lot of those shots wasn't landing because Canelo was doing his Floyd impression, and he was slipping and dodging and countering them shots. But I'm gonna tell you like this: Canelo Alvarez beats Triple G, he's gonna be number one pound for pound. That's what they trying to wait for, because first off, Terrence Crawford, he's a hell of a fighter, and he's right now the pound for pound number one, but they don't feel like that he has that signature win yet. So Canelo beats Triple G, who they say is one of the top 5 all-time middleweights. That fight can go two ways. Triple G can probably knock off 10 years of his career because he gets up for Canelo Alvarez. Like, that's his token signature fight. And he can go back to the way he used to be. It'll probably take some hits from Bivol. Or maybe instead of trying to bang and hit with power shots, Triple G tries to outbox Canelo. And if Triple G tries to outbox Canelo, then that'll make for a more interesting fight. Because see, Canelo, since he's done got heavier, he know, like, in the heavier divisions, they don't do a lot of movement. It's a lot of power shots and catching people. Because a boxing match from the welterweight and a boxing match in the heavyweights, those are two different type of fights you go to watch. You go to watch somebody get knocked out in the heavier divisions like light heavyweight, cruiserweight, and heavyweight. So Canelo has adapted his fighting style to fit the higher division. But if Canelo get back to that quick, swift fighter with the head movement, with the Philly roll, then Canelo will be a problem right there. And then Canelo, people may not think it, but like Canelo said, they won't payday. They won't payday. And fighting Canelo is a payday, because hell, I gotta love it. Say what you want. Canelo Alvarez, he's gonna bring that money. And if you fight Canelo Alvarez, you get life-changing money. That's why everybody's clamoring to fight him. Just like everybody want to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, and people calling out Spence, because they know they're fighting against fighters who done made their mark. And Canelo was personally endorsed by Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather had him on the undercard so he can pass him the torch. And Canelo has took the torch and ran with it. And he has brought boxing into a new light right there because people, casual fans, know who Canelo Alverez is. So he is good for the sport of boxing. I just wish he get a credit the way other people is. But like I said, he will be pound for pound #1 once he beats Triple G. Because Triple G is also considered one of the all-time greats. And this is not my opinion. I'm just speaking boxing. I'm being unbiased, but it is what it is. They consider Triple G an all-time great at middleweight. So if Canelo beats an all-time great, that's going to be his signature win again. And they're going to jump him all the way back up to the top of the pound-for-pound list because they feel like he dared to be great with the Bivol. And one thing that you need to understand, when you get to the end of your career, once you make a certain amount of money, you're above the rules and you're above the law. And Canelo, he brings a certain type of money to the boxing area, and he's above certain rules. So mandatories ain't gonna work on him just like it wouldn't work on Floyd Money Mayweather, because Floyd put in his work and he became above the law and above dues. And no sanctioning body is gonna want to upset Canelo because, you know, they get paid off the purses of the fighters. And with Canelo having such a hefty purse every time he fights, the sanctioning bodies are going to want to keep the belts in Canelo's hands. That's how that belts work. They like to keep the belts in a lucrative fighter's hands. And who's more lucrative than Canelo Alvarez except for Deontay Wilder? So, just like I'm telling y'all, get ready. After Canelo and Triple G, Canelo Alvarez will be pound for pound #1 over the boxing world again, until somebody throws him or until he gets retired. Either way. But I tell you one thing, Canelo gonna look good doing it. And I'm pretty sure him and his team are in there working hard trying to make him a lot swifter, because his last fight he was sluggish. So he's gonna shake off that extra weight and he's gonna become a swifter, leaner Canelo who will be able to last more than 4 rounds without getting tired, because he's gonna beat Triple G like he owes him back child support money. I mean, he's gonna wear Triple G out from Bivol and from Floyd Mayweather. He's gonna take both of his losses out on Triple G. He might end Triple G. And if Canelo Alvarez stops Triple G, he's guaranteed pound for pound #1, stopping a fighter that's never been stopped before, the tough and rugged Gennady Triple G from Kazakhstan. That's all for Upper Echelon. Y'all hit the like button and subscribe. I'm out.